Hey there, this is the Mother's Day card I made for my mom this year, and I'm going to walk you through it. It is a super cute and easy masked off card that makes it look layered. I think it's perfect for Mother's Day. So this is how I made it. I just took a piece of white cardstock as the base, and it's 11 by 6, and I folded it at 5.5, so it makes it a little bit of a longer card, but it's still fairly small. I mean, you can do this with any sized card, it doesn't really matter, but I thought this was a cute size for it. So I just made this cardstock to mask it off because all I have is like actual painter's tape, like the kind you use to paint your walls, and it was way too sticky to stick on the card. I actually had to refilm this because it ripped my paper, so I just put it on the cardstock and then taped it so I had something to mask it with because I don't have any painter's tape on hand. And all I've done now is use my static bag to get all the static off of it so that I can start embossing. You can use any stamps you like. I just used some flowers, some bigger flowers and then some tinier flowers, and later on I'm going to add some butterflies. And I'm just using it with my clear ink. If you don't want to heat emboss, you're perfectly welcome to use just stamps. I actually did a version of the card first with just ink, and it was very, very cute as well. You get the same effect. I was just really excited to use my heat embossing, and it adds a little something extra to it. So just play with it, make it your own, like anything. So all I've done first is stamp the flowers, and then I'm just pouring the pink embossing powder over it. And I'm shaking it off just to tap it off. And I actually realized here that my clear ink isn't juicy enough, so there wasn't enough on there, so the embossing powder isn't sticking well. So I had to go back in, and off camera I just inked the pad better and restamped over what I had already heat embossed, so it was a cleaner look, and it worked that time. So after that's already been heat embossed, I'm going to go in and add the butterflies where I want them, and then I'm just going to heat emboss those. So you can do separate colors, and the heat doesn't ruin what you've already embossed. As long as you're moving the heat tool around, you won't melt what you've already done anymore. So it's a good tip if you want to add extra or multiple colors to your work. And the embossing powder I'm using is Scents by Colorbox, and the pink smells like bubblegum and the yellow smells like lemonade. And I made this card a few days ago, and it still smells like bubblegum and lemonade, and it's actually really neat. I like it a lot, so I think I'm gonna try to find more of those later on. I love this color combination. I think it's really pretty. And I'm very happy with how this card turned out. It's almost shabby chic, actually. So here I'm just masking it off with a piece of cardstock, which is another alternative to using tape. And I just have a gold ink pad that is not juicy at all. Like, it doesn't, it's almost dry. So I've just used that to run along where I had masked off before to give it a bit of a shadow. And this makes it look like 2 layers of paper. So the lighter color on top of the gold makes it look like a shadow. So it makes it look like you have a paper under paper, and it's a really cool effect. And I'm just wiping it off with a wipe to get some of that ink off of the embossing powder, because the embossing powder is like a resist and it will just wipe right off. And then also just along the cardstock to lessen the intensity of the gold so that it looks more like a shadow. And if you do that right away, it does come off quite easily, at least the ones that I was using. And they're by, I believe the brand is Pamis, and it's pigment, it just says Pamis Pigment Ink Pad. So then I've just stamped Mom in the middle with my Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I wanted to add some lace to it because I thought it was a pretty girly touch. And I couldn't quite decide where I wanted it. I knew that I wanted to put something to make it look even more layered, so I wanted it along the masked edge, but I decided that it looked better on the top, so that's where I put it. And then I decided to take a different ribbon and put it where it's masked off. And so all I've done to stick the lace on is put my glue where the lace pattern is, so where the thread is bunched up more, like on the actual parts of the designs. That way there's more for it to grab onto. And I don't use much because it will seep through because it's lace in it and it's got a lot of holes in it. So then you just press it down on the paper and you can let it dry a bit. And once it's dried, you can go over it with your static bag, your anti-static bag, I guess I should be calling it, and that'll lessen any glue you put down under ribbon, because most ribbon is either porous and will soak up the glue, or it's got a lot of holes in it, like the lace ribbon I was using, and it'll just come right through it. So that'll take away the stickiness. So I'm just going to get my darker colored ribbon for it to stand out a bit more, because the card is very light and I wanted something more contrasting. And alternatively, you could also put some sort of decal in the middle there. That's why I grabbed the heart to show you, which would be really cute, especially over the layered look. You can even take like a circle and stamp Mom in the middle of a circle and have it overlapping over the layered part, and that gives it a really cool effect as well. So here's my contrasting color ribbon, or maybe not contrasting, but it stands out a lot more. It's a lot darker. Just definitely gives the card a lot more visual interest. So I'm just doing the same thing with the glue to stick it on, and then trimming off the edges. I'm just taking some decorative cord and tying it in a bow to just the same way you would tie, I guess, a shoelace. And I'm just going to stick that right in the middle of that darker colored ribbon. And as you're pulling it together, you can mold it a bit, have it, you know, the shape you want, so you don't want it twisted or anything like that. And the cord will let you work with it fairly easily. So after that, I'm just about to put a little bit of glue on the actual ribbon where the knot is in the middle to keep it from unraveling at all. I mean, I don't think it will, but it just gives it a little bit of extra support. And then I'm just going to use a little adhesive glue dot in the middle of the ribbon to stick the bow on. And that adhesive is very sticky, so I have no doubt that it's going to keep it on there very well. Then you can kind of mold it for a minute there and make sure it's, you know, exactly the way you want it, and chop off any excess cord. And here I am just making the card a little less sticky with the ribbon. And there you have it. It's a beautiful Mother's Day card. I hope my mom enjoys it. Hi, Mom. And happy Mother's Day to all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And show me some love down in the comments below. You can follow me on all my social media as well, and they're listed on the screen.